All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit on this Thursday morning. We have to have a discussion. This discussion is to the black men in America, black Americans. It's shamefully disgusting and disrespectful how you allow the Democratic Party and Joe Biden to pander to you at this late hour. Joe Biden has been a career politician. For decades, he disrespected the black man in America. He worked diligently against desegregation. No, towards segregation. He was friends with Strom Thurmond and the Ku Klux Klan. The only thing he ever gave you was the 94 crime bill that decimated the community. It decimated. I witnessed it. I witnessed so many of my friends getting 20 years in prison for nonviolent crimes. He called you super predators that must be brought to heel. He said you would turn his schools into racial jungles. This man said if you don't even vote for him, you ain't black. This man gets in front of you and lies and says he has Morehouse men in his cabinet, and there is none. It's been fact checked. The very fact that as black men, we consider Joe Biden is shameful, cowardly, and is weak. They have demonized Donald Trump so much that you act like you scared of Donald Trump. You wasn't scared of him when he was running around with Mike Tyson. You wasn't scared of him when they was putting his name in all them rap music. You wasn't scared of him when he gave you the stimulus checks. When he gave you the stimulus checks, you bought Hellcats and pistols. So now you let Joe Biden and the Democratic Party come to you and pander to you and still offer you nothing. Black man, what you gonna do with abortion? They put the LGBTQ community ahead of you, the Asians ahead of you, opened the borders and gave a whole nother ethnic group benefits over you, and you still act like you undecided. You listen to Charlemagne and people like that. You know that case that Charlemagne had that went away that you don't hear no more about with that girl? He's being protected and he's rich. Who are you listening to that got you even considering Joe Biden? It's shameful to the men of the rest of the world. Chinese men look at you and say, what's wrong with them? Everybody look at you, black man, and say, what's wrong with you to even be considering Joe Biden? The way he disrespects you, the way he disrespected the men of Morehouse, the way he came down there into in front of the NAACP and got an honorary lifetime achievement award. This is sickening. It's sickening to see you so undecided and pandering and so scared of Trump when it's been Joe Biden all along that's been destroying your communities, destroying the nuclear family, undermining your every attempt at becoming something in this country. I'm starting to think that y'all guys that's considering Joe Biden is selling out, that he's offered you something under the table. Because this is a no-brainer. At this late hour, the Democratic Party comes to you and panders. Now all of a sudden the black man is needed. I thought we was an endangered species not too long ago. That's what they were saying in the late 80s and 94, that we was becoming extinct because of the policies of Joe Biden. Genocide Joe, Jim Crow Joe. And y'all got the nerve to get in front of people that y'all represent and act like you even considering this man after all he said and done to you as a people. It's shameful, it's weak, it's cowardly, to say the least, or treacherous or traitorous. Say it ain't so. That you going for Jim Crow Joe, you buying his rhetoric, and he still ain't offering you nothing. You let him come to Morehouse and talk about slavery. He was a devout segregationist. He spoke at Strom Thurmond funeral, the KKK member. He was friends with the Grand Wizard. He gets in front of you and tells lies. This man said that his uncle was eating back cannibals. He'll say anything to you, and you still act undecided. The Democratic Party, the Dixiecrats, they coming to you and you buying into it. You even considering it. It's shameful. It's very shameful. You will never have no respect in this world. You don't even know who your real enemy is. You think Trump is your enemy because he's an enemy to the deep state. You don't care that they transgendering your children at school. You don't care nothing about that, do you? You don't care about them opening the borders. What do you want? You don't want to be free. No, you don't want to be free. You can't get another massa better than that massa, huh? Let's look at the clip. And I want you to see they didn't even bought out Al Sharpton, that wore wire, that worked for the feds, that's been selling out for the last 40 years. The Tawana Broadley incident. He has the nerve to come out in front of you as a reverend and sell you out. Let's get into this clip. This for fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act for Education, Commentary, and the First Amendment. Look at this.
Michigan will be a key state in this year's presidential election, and recent polling continues to show a close race. Young Black men have emerged as a key voting bloc that could either push Joe Biden across the finish line.
All of a sudden, the young Black man has emerged. Really? Where we been all this time?
Or help give Trump the best Black voter support for a Republican presidential candidate in recent history. Joining us now, NBC News correspondent Tremaine Lee, who sat down with a group of Black men who are deeply involved in their community to see how they are feeling this election cycle. Also with us is the president of the National Action Network and host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, Reverend Al Sharpton. Great to have you both with us.
Do you see this chicken eating Negro? You see this sellout? Watch what comes out of his mouth. He's a paid Democratic shield, allegedly, right?
Tremaine, the Rev has been telling us for some time that Joe Biden's support among Black voters not as intense as it usually is for Democratic voters, but for Democratic presidents, but especially among Black men. What did you find?
Why would it be? Al Sharpton, you was there for the 94 crime bill. You was there. You, Jesse Jackson, and the rest of y'all sellouts, y'all was there when they was giving Black men life and 20 years in prison for nonviolent crimes. You were there. You witnessed it. You witnessed them call us super predators. So if we don't vote for them, we ain't Black. Well, guess what? If that's the case, I don't want to be Black.
President Joe Biden won Michigan by a little more than 125,000 votes in 2024, and in 2020. In 2024, it's expected to be just as close. But there's a demographic of voter that could play a crucial role in who wins the state and perhaps the White House: Black men. I caught up with a group of guys in Detroit who say if politicians want their vote, they're going to have to come and work for it. Check it out. What's up, sister? On Detroit's hardscrabble west side, it seems like everyone knows them. From block to block and business to business, this group of Black men shows up day after day, rain or shine, offering protection, resources, and respect. Every day, y'all out here filling the gaps. Yeah, man, that's where our people at, so we gotta be here. They are New Era Detroit, an organization that fills the often massive void between the people and the politicians. People come in, and, they come holler at us about things they may need, or if they struggling with their water bill, light bill, gas bill. They're everyday faces in some of Detroit's most disinvested communities, a kind of hood first response team. But they feel invisible to those at the height of political power. We are one of the leading organizers on the ground in the city.
Now, they said they've been feeling invisible. So for 40 years, Joe Biden been a politician. And the only time They become relevant is when he's losing to Trump. Even black women who used to carry water for the Democratic Party is jumping ship. And now you come to these brothers, and no disrespect to New Era Detroit. Them brothers do a good job. But I think they'll get a better deal in a more involved government with the conservatives, because what they doing is conservative, protecting the community and standing up for family. They ain't with the liberalism of transgendering kids and abortion and wars and all of that. Come on, let's keep it real. Let's stop playing these games with these politicians.
In Detroit, literally the closest that you're gonna get to black people in this city. We haven't heard anything from a Democrat or a Republican.
Men like them, in communities like theirs, could very well determine who is sent to the White House in 2024, with both Democrats and Republicans vying for their attention.
I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against.
Black men have not benefited proportionate to other populations in terms of economic opportunity.
They get in your face and they tell you they ain't done nothing for you. They telling you. Read their double talk. These Democrats don't even hide their contempt for you. They have no respect for you. Black men haven't, but now they want your vote. So now you relevant. They playing you like a $2 304. Y'all know what a 304 is. And if you're from Detroit, you know what a $2 304 is.
And economic health, much less wealth creation. And so we just have to be honest about that.
And while Biden has locked down traditional black voters, black men are poised to become something of a swing vote. Some polling showing that Trump is on track to capture a larger share of black voters than any other Republican presidential candidate since 1996. Why do you think it's been harder for them to connect to us?
They just want to get the votes, and that's it. They don't care about nothing else. People come to our communities and pander for our votes, and we know we ain't never seen this person before, ever. We know it's fake.
In recent months, Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and third-party candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. have all made trips to Michigan without visiting the kinds of neighborhoods that New Era works in.
You got to think, man, we live in communities where people, worrying about their next meal, where people worrying about, if they're going to be able to keep the lights on. We never seen these people. You know what I mean? They're not real people. And then when they come to, you just said, they come to Michigan and they come to these places, but it's not in our places.
Who among you is definitely going to vote? Raise your hand if you're definitely voting in this election. So just one. So you haven't decided whether you're going to vote or not?
I'm undecided as of right now. Me and my family, we're Democrats. I don't know who I'm going to vote for.
You hear that old joker? Me and my family, we Democrats. Me and my family, we always been Democrats. So we gonna vote Democrat. We can't get no better master than this one. What you gonna do with freedom, Kunta? What we gonna do if we's free? Who gonna take care of us if we's free? I've always been a Democrat, and I'm gonna vote Democrat. I don't care how bad Joe Biden treats us. I don't care he was a segregationist. I don't care, because I want to be black. If I don't vote for him, I can't be black no more. Really?
None of us speak for all black men, but I wonder if the candidates were listening. What would you tell them that black men especially want for our communities?
Just want to see you, touch you. Just want to feel your vibe.
If you really want the black vote, spend more time in the black community.
We just want to see you and touch you. I don't want to see you and touch you. I want you to create jobs, build up the infrastructure, get these immigrants out of our neighborhoods, give us some of the grants that you give these Arabs. Secure the community. Put money into education. It's cities like Highland Park don't even have a high school. How a whole city don't have a high school? And he talking about, I just want to feel you and touch you. Really? Say it ain't so, bro.
With black people hearing about their problems.
Back on the streets, the brothers of New Era are doing what they do best and what they say most politicians can't or won't do. showing up for Black people in a way they can feel. So as you saw, just one of those guys, the elder gentleman, definitely is going to vote in the presidential election, and for Biden, actually. But tracking with a generational divide we're seeing among Black men and their support and their openness to Donald Trump, we're seeing something that shifts along certainly class lines, gender lines, but also generational lines as well.
Right, that is, I mean, it's such an extraordinarily important report. And Rev, again, this is something you've been talking about for some time, that Black men are going to be so key in.
Look at his droopy jaws, hound dog face. They need to break out in the old Negro spiritual. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Or another one, wade in the water. This is pitiful. This is pitiful.
Michigan, especially, as Jonathan was bringing up before, because a lot of Arab Americans may not be there in the numbers that they have in the past supporting Joe Biden. But we all.
When did we in Detroit start caring about what the Arabs do? Somebody got to tell me. I only lived in there almost 60 years. I'm born and raised in Detroit and Highland Park. Tell me when what the Arabs was doing was an issue with us. Average guy over there in the hood, he just don't want him to run out of malt liquor. That's all they contribute to the community. Malt liquor. Blunts, vapes, you name it. As long as they ain't running out of that, don't nobody even miss them.
Always talk about white men, how are white men going to vote? They're the swing voters, et cetera, et cetera. It's not the case this year. A lot of older white men are starting to move to Joe Biden. It is now Black men that the Biden-Harris team have to really connect with.
Absolutely correct. And I believe that they can. I just don't.
Them old white men he talking about is the ones that don't realize who the real racist is.
Know why they don't get the message. I think Tremaine's piece is so important because one of the things that was said by one of the men on the piece that I know for a fact is the disconnect between those politicians, Black and white, and people on the ground. I remember, and Tremaine remembers this, when I started Politics Nation here, some people in Harlem said, well, he won't be doing the Saturday morning rallies anymore. I still do. I'll be there in the morning.
Right.
Because you want to be on the ground where the people are. You can't speak for people you don't speak to. And the one thing that I say, Tremaine, I'll pose it to you. The Biden people have so much that they could, in many ways, that was an amen. Somebody.
Exactly.
But the Biden people have so much material they can work with. It's almost like, to me, some kind of a malfeasance on their part, right, or malfunction in the campaign. Because if I were running against Donald Trump and I want to talk to Black men, I'd bring out the Central Park Five, who Donald Trump called on getting the death penalty. And they were exonerated, and he still said he didn't back up off of that.
I remember that. I was there. Everybody was calling for them brothers to get punished because they admitted it. One of them father brought him down there. The crime was heinous. It came out years later that their confessions was coerced. But when that crime happened, everybody was outraged because New York was out cold. They had this thing where the people was roaming the street called wilding. See, he wants to bring that up because he's lying. He's being disingenuous. Everybody wanted them to go to jail because they thought they were guilty because one of them confessed. But that's water under the bridge. Let's talk about Jim Crow Joe with the crime bill.
These are young Black men that could say, this is what he thinks of us. He tried to kill me. They're at my rallies every Saturday morning. Nobody from the Biden campaign even refers to, you want to know about Donald Trump and young Black men? Look at the Central Park Five, the only race case he ever took a position on in 40 years.
You want to know about Joe Biden and young and old black men? Look at the 94 crime bill. Look at how he was so adamant against busing and integration. Look at how he said that your kids going to school with his kids would turn the school system into a racial jungle. Look how he said he had to bring you to heel. Look how he said if you don't vote for me, ain't black. Look how he even partners with this federal informant, Al Sharpton. Negro, please.
Is in New York. He never said anything about any other case.
And Rev, to your point, you're there every single Saturday with the people. When Kamala Harris came, she went to the African American Museum, the creme de la creme of Black Detroit. On Sunday, Joe Biden will be at the NAACP's national fundraising dinner there, the creme de la creme. But not as Brother Zeke said, in the hoods or ghettos.
Or church.
Going to the people, or going to a church with older, consistent voters. But they're leaving a lot of votes on the table because these men in this community have concerns about their family. They have concerns about safety. They have concerns about how they're engaged.
Because they're pandering. They playing you like you stupid. They playing you like a $2.304. They want your vote. They don't want you to vote for Trump. They terrified that Trump gonna get in and attack that deep state. See, I know y'all don't care about what they do to y'all children in that school system. Y'all with it. Y'all really with it. You got to really look sideways now at some of these guys that want to go Democrat, because how I'm going to send my son to school, to public school, and some teacher tells my son that he could be a girl, and then when my son come home and I tell him I don't want to wear a dress, they're going to put me in jail? You with that? You going to open all these borders and let all these migrants in for cheap labor while you won't employ me, and then tell me that there's jobs is booming. Tell me that it ain't no inflation. Really? This is ridiculous. I mean, like, you really should be ashamed of yourself. I know it's a lot of women that this really is not directed to. If y'all know a man that's a black man, send him this video and ask him give you one reason that he want to vote for Joe Biden without mentioning Trump. Ask him one reason.
Engaging with the policing and carceral system, but they never see any of these politicians. And if they do, it's only once every 4 years or 2 or 6 years, never on the ground.
At our National Action Network convention, some of the dignitaries spoke from the podium. One guy said, no, let's do a open up town hall where the people sit in a chair, talk to the people and all of that. Wasn't a Biden official. It was Deacon Joe Scarborough.
It's Deacon Joe.
That was amazing. All right,
Somebody that's so important. Thank you so much
for
the report.
Amazing.
You hear Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough? It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing that y'all are still slaves and we can still manipulate you. We can pee on your head and tell you it's raining. Enough of this. I've said enough. Signing to you out of Detroit. Keep y'all head on a swivel. Salute to all patriots. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.